Cross-cultural competition in car design and construction is at the heart of what makes the automotive industry so exciting. However, some of the best cars are produced by nations working together to create something truly unique. The Giugiaro Mustang exemplifies how Italian elegance meets American muscle. It all started in 2005 when the all-new Ford Mustang was introduced, capturing the hearts and minds of millions of fans and future owners. However, the proportions and design of Ford's first purpose-built muscle car in 30 years drew the attention and the imagination of Fabrizio Giugiaro, one of the world's leading coach builders in Italy. Fabrizio was born in 1965 in Turin. In the second half of the 1980s, after graduating from the Politecnico di Torino's art school and architecture faculty, he actively participated in the development of Italdesign's experimental projects. In 1990, he got to the point where he was in charge of both the Style Center and the management of new experimental cars. He was appointed manager of Italdesign in July of 1996 and then director of style and prototypes in 2006. So in early 2005, Giugiaro pitched Jay Mays, Ford Motor Company's Group Vice President, Design and Chief Creative Officer, on his idea to give the beloved Mustang an Italian makeover. Mustang by Giugiaro is the result, a one-of-a-kind concept powered by Ford racing technologies. However, Giugiaro had designed a previous Mustang, and that was back in 1965, and this was designed by senior Giugiaro, who celebrated his 50th anniversary in the business by designing a custom-made Ferrari, the GG50, and this time it was the son Fabrizio's time to do the same, take a Mustang and add some Italian spice to the design. The original 1965 Bertone Mustang, which was unmistakably Italian in its interpretation, was the first European-style car to make its international appearance in America after World War II. And as I'm sure you know, the portfolio of Giugiaro includes concept and production designs for nearly every automaker in the world, including Fiat, Alfa Romeo, and Volkswagen, as well as Mazda, Lotus, and Bugatti. Fabrizio Giugiaro, who joined Italdesign, the family firm, in 1990, has helped to deliver key global designs as well, but American automotive icons have long captured his attention. He created the Chevy Corvette Moray, which was introduced in early 2003, and was eager to add to his collection of Giugiaro-inspired American metal. Fabrizio himself oversaw the Mustang's concept 2D design process, allowing him to deliver a complete exterior model from the family studio in Turin, Italy, in just 4 months. The Giugiaro Mustang concept had its debut at the 2006 Los Angeles International Auto Show, and it was the result of Italdesign's years of experience in car design and the collaboration with Ford. Italdesign transformed the Mustang into a refined and intimidating sports car by bringing European styling to this all-American icon. Its angular lines flow into one another, creating an aggressive modern feel, and it's only slightly larger than the current Mustang. The windshield and roof are made of a single piece of high-tech glass, and this glass, which is made of a special type of crystal, can filter out 100% of the UVA rays while still providing perfect visibility. The doors are touch activated and rise at a 45-degree angle, similar to the style of Lamborghini doors from the A-pillar when opened. Giugiaro made significant changes to the interior and the exterior styling and design. The final vehicle concept is more compact and tapered, with a shorter rear overhang. It feels more like a sports car rather than a muscle car, but it is 30mm or 1.2 inches wider in the front and 80mm or 3.1 inches wider in the back. The Giugiaro Mustang is powered by the same 4.6-liter V8 as in the Mustang GT, but it also has a supercharger. Ital Design also tuned the engine and fitted it with fuel injectors from the Ford GT, and the engine gets more fresh air through an air intake with a 95mm larger mass air meter and a conical air filter. An X-pipe and Ford racing mufflers improve exhaust flow, and not to mention the sound of the V8. All of these power enhancements add up to the car's ability to produce over 500 horsepower at 11 psi of supercharger boost. 2005 was a special year for Giugiaro, with the senior Giorgetto Giugiaro celebrating 50 years in the car design business. And at the LA Auto Show in 2006, the father presented the Ferrari GG50 while the son Fabrizio introduced this Ital Design Ford Mustang concept. So what was it that made the Giugiaro Mustang almost an Italian sports car? How did they turn this American muscle into something that is completely not what the original is when it comes to feel and vibe of the design? I'm going to show you exactly why that is, looking at the front, side, and rear, and also we need to talk about the interior of this car because it's a really cool interior. So here we have the 2005 Mustang up here. This is the first retro-inspired Mustang, and I love this design. I think this is probably the best design of the modern Mustangs going from 2005 to right now, 2023. When it comes to bringing back that old mental psychopathic look where you have the eyeball sitting deep in an eye socket like we have right here, like we have in the original Mustang as well. It has this sort of confused look about it. It doesn't know how powerful it is, but you can tell that it's about to snap at any point just looking at the face of the Mustang. And I love that because we have this inverted line, so it looks almost a little sad here with these big dark eyes sitting far back. Now look what they did in the Giugiaro Mustang down here. They turned it into more of a sports car. So first of all, this line right here, that is a typical Mustang line going outwards from this corner, going outwards in this angle, is now inverted. So we have more of a sports car angle in the front face, just specifically with this headlight right here. And we also have this line now going dipping down instead of dipping up. And it creates a much more sleek design and a lot more sports car feel for this design. It's still a good looking car, but it's not a muscle car anymore. And in addition to that, this entire section, this height of this section is a lot slimmer here as well, creating a more nimbler, sportier look for the front end of the Mustang. Looking at the side view, this is super interesting as well. We have a straight line, very muscle car design in the 2005 Mustang, which I really like. It takes into consideration the original proportions of the 60s Mustangs and apply it into a new body and new manufacturing methods. We also have almost a trunk in the back. In combination with these typical lines from the 60s, we have this hockey stick design right here, which I think they still should have today. Now looking at the Giugiaro design right here, what I want to bring your attention to first of all is look at the angle of the A-pillar and compare this angle in the normal Mustang to this angle. This is almost like a supercar angle of the A-pillar and the greenhouse, and it looks super sleek, and it does not have this trunk in the rear. It never goes straight into a trunk. Instead, it dips almost like a proper fastback design. And then you have more styling in the side as well. And look at this area. We have a straight line in the normal Mustang, but in the Giugiaro Mustang, we have a lot more Italian curvatures, specifically over the rear wheel arch with this curvature right here, and also the dip in the front end where it dips down into a more sleek, shark-like front end of the Giugiaro design. The rear overhang in the normal Mustang, it's pretty significant overhang in the rear. They shortened that in the Italian version to make it, again, look more sports car-like than muscle car design. Let's have a look at the rear view before we jump into the final image, which is gonna be the interior. Same thing here, a lot of inspiration from the 60s Mustang in the normal Mustang GT from 2005. It looks solid. It has a very simple approach to it, almost geometrical, but same time bringing a lot of muscle to this design, for example, with these wheel arches and the dual exhaust, symmetrical and nice. looking proper. And looking at the Giugiaro Mustang, a lot of styling going on. I think this is probably the area that changed the most is the rear end. And now we have a curvature, almost like a ducktail here, with these design features. We still have 3 light bars, because I think if we remove this, we're gonna remove too much of the Mustang identity. We still don't have the 3 light bars, but here you can see they're definitely more Italianized than they are in the original Mustang up here, and a lot more smoother deck lid overall and chamfer, and the bumper is smoothly integrated in the body. And just have a look at the exhaust pipes, adding some flair to this by having them be triangular. All right, so quickly let's have a look at the interior. A lot of changes in the interior as well. We have a pretty much straight line, horizontal, geometrical interior in the normal 2005 Mustang, very much inspired by the 60s with these wings that we have on each side. And I'm glad they kept that in the Giugiaro Mustang, but it's a lot more Gucci in this design down here. I like the color scheme. I also think it's cool that they actually put some authentic cowhide in the seats, and they completely changed the steering wheel, and everything in here is brand new. A lot more stylized and different upscale materials rather than having just hard plastic all over the interior like we had in the 2005 model. I think this was a really cool design study from Giugiaro to take something so different from Italian design, a muscle car, and add some Italian flair to it. And I think the result is really interesting. What I would love to see though is Pininfarina take a Mustang and do something special with it, because if you compare Ital design to Pininfarina, Ital design has always had these almost quirky designs, while Pininfarina has stayed true to the more classic, elegant approach of design. So it would be really interesting to see what they would come up with if they took, for example, the new 2023 Mustang and turned that into their own idea of what an American muscle car should look like.